Now, over the next 25 to 30 minutes or so, we're going to be going over a few topics. First, we're going to talk about what is Pi Vision. What were some external influences in terms of industry and market and technology that drove us to create Pi Vision? Also, we're going to go over some strategy. Why did we decide to go with Pi Vision internally? And also, what benefits you're going to get by using Pi Vision today. Then we're going to go over some Pi Vision roadmap. We're going to talk about what's coming out next with Pi Vision, some new exciting things. And then lastly, we're going to go over Pi process book migration, as well as ad hoc trending. Two really exciting things coming out with Pi Vision 2019. So to start, what is Pi Vision? Now, to understand what Pi Vision is, I want to take a step back and understand the evolving world of data. Right now, you've probably been hearing about Industry 4.0 over the past few years with new technology, new sensors, and up in the cloud, you have artificial intelligence, machine learning, training algorithms. Right? All of that is really bringing on new data and new technologies. Right? I think there's studies out there that say there's 450 cloud vendors and providers. Right? So which ones are going to survive? Which ones are going to be acquired? Right? We don't really know in a couple of years. Right? There's another study that says by 2025, there's going to be 165 zettabytes worth of data. Right? So a zettabyte, I actually had no idea what that was. So I had to look that up. Now that's 165 followed by 21 zeros. All right, so 165 zettabytes by 2025. That's not saying every organization, every company is going to be dealing with 165 zettabytes worth of data. But what that does show is that there's an exponential growth and increase in data that your organization is just going to have to work with and understand how to handle the data appropriately and most efficiently. Right, so as I mentioned, new technology, new sensors at the edge, and really what that brings on is a lot of complexity, and that complexity could drive new workflows. So what we're finding is that you are accessing data differently, the way you share data and handle the data, it needs to be done differently. And that's precisely why we created Pi Vision. So Pi Vision is our flagship in data visualization here at OSIsoft. Right? And if there's three things from this slide I want you to remember, it's that it's easy to use, it's self-service, and that it's a scalable solution. Right? It's the fastest and easiest way for you to view your Pi system data. Now, it's also web-based, so we take advantage of mobile capabilities. IT benefits from this as well with rapid rollout and deployment. It's built with collaboration in mind, so you can organize and share these displays across your organization easily. So what I just mentioned is a few external influences that caused us to create Pi Vision. Right? But let's take a look. What I want to share with you now is kind of the strategy that we've been having through the past couple years. So what you see on the screen right now are 4 products, some of which you are familiar with and some of which you may still be using. Right? Top left there we have Pi Process Book, excellent tool to create your process monitoring views. Right? You can create your plant floor on a digital view right in front of you. We introduced Pi CoreSight a couple years ago. Now with this ad hoc analysis, right, on-the-fly calculation, on-the-fly trending, you can select data items and really reduce your root cause analysis. Then we have Pi Web Parts. You can build these dashboards with KPIs and really see your high-level key performance indicators at a glance. And then lastly, we have Pi Manual Logger. This is for manual data entry. Right, now this changed the way that operators perform their operator rounds. I think we heard this morning in the keynote. Right? Traditionally, an operator would grab a clipboard, go perform their operator round, and go to each equipment, jot down the information on the clipboard, bring it back to the control room, and sometimes that's where it ends. Sometimes they would write it up on a whiteboard because that's their way of sharing the data for other people to see. Right? But what happens late at night when someone accidentally erases that whiteboard, or let's say it's a Monday morning, someone's a little tired, tipped over coffee with their elbow, right on the clipboard, data's gone. Right, so Pi Manual Logger allows the operator to walk around, put that data into their mobile device, and with a few simple clicks, send that data to the Pi system where now it's digitally historized, and now you have a digital record of that data. Right, and so as I mentioned, 4 products. And what we begin to find here, though, is that you're bouncing around 4 different applications, 4 applications performing different tasks just to solve one critical business issue. Right, so we need to move towards a singular unified platform, something that's going to help your critical operations and allow you to solve your business issues much more efficiently. And again, that's why our strategy has been moving towards Pi Vision. Right? You have the capabilities of building your process monitoring displays. We're introducing ad hoc analysis with Pi Vision 2019. Right? You can build your dashboards that simply drill through down to more specific asset-centric dashboards. Right now, this has been a journey over a couple years now, and it's still an ongoing journey. We're introducing new things every year with your feedback in mind. Now, if we think back to the earlier slide that I mentioned, there's 3 things I wanted you to remember, and that it's easy to use, it's self-service, and that it's scalable. Right? So what does that mean? Why is it easy to use? Well, it has an intuitive interface. Right? We hear this from our customers that within 15 to 30 minutes, someone can mess around with the tool and figure out how to use it. Right? So we're shortening that learning curve. Right? So imagine bringing people onto your team and how quickly they can actually learn the tool. Dynamic displays. When you bring new equipment and assets online, they automatically get added to that display. There's no need to go back and re-edit it. And easy display navigation. Right? You have one display, and with a double click into that display, it'll bring you to another asset-centric display and bring all the context with it to that display. So it's easy to navigate through, it's easy to learn. Anyone can join your group and quickly come up to speed. Next, self-service. Now this is big. We know that as operators and engineers, you need to get your operational data without the need of other business groups. Right? You need to get to your results quickly. There's no time to package up your data, throw it over to the fence to IT, and wait for results to come back. Right? When we start to talk about critical operations, minutes matter. Right? Fast display building. Again, it's easy and it's intuitive. And then lastly, mobile capabilities. Now, I'm sure a majority of the people in this room have a device in their pockets right now that's stronger, more capable than some laptops on the market. Right? So Pi Vision takes advantage of that. Now you can create, edit displays right on your mobile device. You can be out anywhere and access these displays on any device at any time. And lastly, it's scalable. Now you're able to reduce your number of displays. Now this is interesting because you can have one display set up. Let's call it a pump. One display for a pump, right? You build it out. It has the KPIs there for the pump, the performance indicators, could be inlet, outlet temperature, whatever that is. Right? But realistically, you're not dealing with just one pump. You're going to be dealing with multiple. Right? By working with related assets within Asset Framework, you can build that one single display, and with a drop-down, select, let's say, pump 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever that is, and that display automatically updates for you. Right? And display organization, as you scale up, of course, we have folders to organize that for you, and also rapid deployment and rollout, as I mentioned earlier. So, again, I just want to mention that Pi Vision, again, is easy to use, it's scalable, and it's self-service, and it's scalable. And it's going to scale with you as your organization grows. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Ryan McErlean to talk about the Pi Vision roadmap.
Thanks, Andrew. So let's take a look at what the roadmap for Pi Vision looks like. Right now, we're working on Pi Vision 2019, which includes 2 major new features. The first is ad hoc trending. The first is ad hoc trending. And the second is process book migration. So the focus of this talk is Pi Vision 2019, so we'll dive deeper into both of these in just a moment. After Pi Vision 2019, we're looking to add display editing enhancements that we've heard requests for from many customers. So, such as support for multiple time ranges on a single display, as well as allowing more than one user to edit the same display. So again, these are things that we've heard many times, and this is what we're currently looking at next in terms of the roadmap. For the future, we're considering a few topics, such as deployment, authentication, calculations, as well as additional ways to improve the application and make it even easier to use. So this roadmap is in many ways shaped by you. So we're relying on your feedback to know what to build next and what you'd like to see in the product. So please visit our feedback site at feedback.osisoft.com You'll probably hear that a number of times throughout the presentations this week, but we are monitoring it, and we're looking forward to your feedback there. So, as I mentioned, for the rest of the talk, we'll be focusing on the upcoming release of PyVision 2019. And this release contains 3 major updates. The first is PyProcess book migration. This is something that we've heard many, many requests for. In PyVision 2019, we'll be providing a path forward for PyProcess book displays so that you can take the displays you've created and the investment you've made over the years and move that forward to PyVision. I'll have more on this in just a moment. The second major feature is ad hoc trending. This is, again, something that we've heard was an important capability for our users that was lacking in PyVision. We used that feedback and worked with our customers so that we could deliver it in PyVision 2019. This feature allows users to quickly analyze data across displays and investigate issues on the fly. The third update in this release is around security configuration. In the current release, some symbols required extra configuration in order to use those symbols. So in PyVision 2019, we've made changes to streamline the configuration so it's much easier to get up and running with PyVision. So now, let's take a closer look at the first feature I mentioned, which is PyProcess book migration. As I mentioned, many of our customers have invested in building monitoring displays in PyProcess book. With PyVision 2019, we'll be enabling those customers to move forward with us by migrating PyProcess book displays into PyVision. Here you can see a display that we use for monitoring our headquarters building, SLTC, as was mentioned in the keynote this morning. This is a display for our AC unit, one of the AC units that cools the building. Here you can see the display in Process Book, and then once it's been converted to PyVision. Now, let's take a look at how this migration is done with our migration utility. Migrating displays can be done in just 3 simple steps. The first step is to select the displays you'd like to migrate. So here, you can select files or entire folders. And if you select a folder, we will look through the hierarchy underneath that folder to identify any displays, any process book displays that are contained in there, so that you can, if you want to, you can choose to select them to migrate. The second step is to use our PyProcess book migration utility to analyze those displays. The utility will organize the displays into 2 categories: can be fully migrated and can be partially migrated. So what we'll do is we'll identify anything contained in the displays that we are not able to migrate forward to PyVision. These include things that are not supported in PyVision or things that in general aren't supported in web browsers. So things like VBA, for example, or data sets that are in Process Book. These are things that are not supported currently. Step 3 is to migrate the selected displays to PyVision. So once you have a chance to see your analysis results, you can then select which displays you'd like to continue moving forward and on to PyVision. Every display you select will be migrated, and if a display contains content, some content that cannot be migrated that was flagged by the utility, we'll still migrate everything else that was in that display so that you can start using them in PyVision. Now, let's jump into the next feature I mentioned, which is ad hoc trending. The new ad hoc trending capabilities, which Chris demonstrated this morning in the keynote, allow you to dive into a real-time investigation of your operations and quickly discover insights. You can select data from across displays to add to an ad hoc workspace where you can analyze and identify the root cause of issues. With ad hoc trending, the focus is on the data itself and not on the configuration. So what we've done is we've optimized the ad hoc workspace so that you can quickly pull in the data that you need and get answers without having to spend a lot of time configuring, making things look exactly as you want. We really want the focus to be on the data. So with that, let's jump into a demo of how this works. So Chris stole my thunder a little bit this morning when he introduced the topic of ad hoc trending and showed a brief demo for you. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper and show you some more of the capabilities that we have there. So I'm going to pretend for now that I'm a facilities engineer. And again, we're actually going to use the display that we showed in the slides earlier, the same display that was a process book display that we've now migrated forward into PyVision. So as I mentioned, this is a display for one of our AC units that cools the building. So as a facilities engineer, I come in Monday morning, and I've been alerted that there was an issue over the weekend, an issue with the cooling system that I need to look into. So first thing I'm going to do is pull up my monitoring display for the AC unit and start pulling in some data to see if I can understand what might have happened. So with the new ad hoc trending feature, I can easily select a few items from the display. So here what I'm doing first is I'm going to pull in some of the temperature values that we're collecting in and around the building. So the first one is the indoor temperature. The second is the discharge air temperature, so the temperature leaving the system. And the third is the outdoor air temperature. So by holding control and using a single click, I've selected these three values. And now I'm going to use the new feature of ad hoc trending to trend these together in our new ad hoc workspace. Wouldn't be a live demo if we didn't have a hiccup. There we go. OK. So my monitoring display was set to look at 1 hour's worth of data. And so that's what the ad hoc workspace is doing by default. It's pulling in the time range from the display. So this data, 1 hour is not the time slice I'm looking for. I'm really looking to see what happened over the weekend. So I'm going to quickly jump out and look at a week's worth of data. So everything that I have here is temperature. So I'm going to use a single scale so that I can normalize this data on the same scale. So in the ad hoc trending workspace, I can do that with just a single click. Now, I can immediately see that in the beginning of the week, there was a pattern with the data, and that something changed at the end. So over here, this is where the weekend is. So that's Saturday. This is Sunday. And then this is Friday. So let's take a look at exactly what data are we looking at again. So in purple here, we have the outdoor air temperature. You can see that rises and falls each day with the high and the low temperature. We have our discharge air temperature, the temperature leaving the system. And then we have the indoor air temperature. So the indoor air temperature is remaining fairly constant. It doesn't have as much fluctuation, fortunately, as the other temperatures. The one of most interest right now appears to be this discharge air temperature. So if I look at Friday, the maximum for this value on Friday was 63, 64 degrees. But over the weekend, this is jumping into the 80s. So I've identified that I've confirmed that something different has happened over the weekend. I'm not sure what yet. So I'm going to go back to my display and pull in some more data. So what I'd like to look at is information specific to the cooling system, so information on our compressors and the overall cooling load. So I'm just going to select some more data from the display, click to add it to my ad hoc workspace. And now I have everything here. So now I'm no longer looking at just temperature. I'm looking at a few different things. So single scales doesn't make sense anymore. So let's, in a single click, change that to multiple scales. Next, this is pretty busy. There's a lot going on here, and I'm really just concerned with the weekend. So let's zoom in on the weekend time range. There's still a lot happening here. Maybe there's some things that I could remove. Maybe I've added too much information. So let's go through the list. This is compressor 4. Compressor 4 is actually offline. It's been offline for some time, and we don't need to have it here in our workspace. So with a single click, I can remove that. The same appears to be the case for compressor 2. It's just a flat line. That's not giving me a lot of information. It's just clutter at this point. So again, with a single click, I'll remove that to get down to just the information that I need. Now, I still have 3 temperatures on here, as well as some information from our compressor and our cooling system. So since I switched to multiple scales, the temperatures are no longer normalized. I'm going to use the table down here, where we have the ability to specify custom scales so that I can normalize those values again. So I can quickly do that by entering in the values that I like to see on the scale so that I can normalize them. All right, so that's taken care of. I'm going to remind myself of the points of interest here. Right, so this is, again, this was Sunday afternoon around 4 p.m., Saturday afternoon around the same time. And again, we're comparing this to a normal day. So over here, when I zoomed into a time range of 3 days. So I zoomed in so that I could see Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to compare a normal day to the weekend days that we're having where I noticed an issue. So now that I've pared this down a bit into just the information that I think I need for my analysis, let's take a look at what's actually going on with the cooling system at this point in time. So if I look at compressor 1, I can see that on the left-hand side, on Friday, compressor 1 comes on and off throughout the day. If I look at Saturday, compressor 1 comes on maybe about 9 a.m. It goes off at noon, and it doesn't come back on again until Monday morning. So that's compressor 1. The other compressor that we have running during this time range is compressor 3. Compressor 3 is running all of Friday, or most of the day Friday. On Saturday, it comes on and off a few times in the morning until it shuts off and is done for the rest of the day. Let's look at our overall cooling capacity for the building. So again, we can see that our cooling capacity after noon on Sunday, it's off. We're not cooling the building at all until we start things back up on Monday morning. So at this point, it's fairly clear that something is going on with our cooling system. We need to take a closer look. So at this point in my investigation, I'm going to escalate to another engineer. But what I want to do is I want to share the analysis that I've done so far so that they can pick up where I left off. In the upper right-hand corner here, we have a button you can use to share your ad hoc analysis. So what it does is it will generate a URL that you can then copy to your clipboard, send in an email, send in a text message so that someone else can take a look at what you're seeing and pick up where you left off. So that'll do it for our demonstration of the ad hoc workspace. As you can see, I was able to quickly pull in items, do some analysis, and begin a root cause before I was able to then pass it off to another engineer. And so those are the things that we're looking to enable with this ad hoc trending feature. Thanks. All right, so with that, let's start wrapping up. So some of the things that we've gone over in this talk. Andrew started with an introduction to PyVision and told us how PyVision is an easy-to-use, self-service, scalable solution for data visualization. We talked about PyVision 2019, which is going to be released mid-year 2019, so we're expecting the end of June. PyVision 2019 is the next step for visualization at OSIsoft. It adds key functionality, it allows process book customers to move forward, and it improves the usability of the product. The next thing, as Andrew talked about our vision, you can look for more to come as we continue to deliver on our vision for visualization. So if you'd like to learn more, either about PyVision 2019, about migrating process book displays, about PyVision in general, please stop by the visualization booth. So we are in the Golden Gate Ballroom. So please come by and see us there. We have a few other sessions I'd like to highlight. On Thursday, Andrew and I have a presentation that's going to be a deeper dive into process book migration. We'll talk migrating strategies. We'll migrate displays live and show you exactly what that process looks like and what you can do once you're in PyVision. That'll be Thursday at 3:30 p.m. On Wednesday, we have a tech talk that will include live coding on how to create custom symbols to extend PyVision. And then Thursday and Friday, we have a few hands-on lab sessions. Building displays with PyVision 2019. In that lab, you can get your hands on PyVision 2019, try out ad hoc trending. You can also try out the migration utility. And the other lab we have is on PyVision Beyond the Basics, going deeper into some more advanced functionality in PyVision. So we're looking for some feedback to learn more about your adoption and use of PyVision and what we can do to help. So please take a few minutes to complete our survey so that we can understand your needs. This QR code and a link to the survey, it's available in the slide deck. It'll also be posted at the visualization booth in Golden Gate. So if you have a few moments, please fill it out and give us your feedback. On the topic of feedback, don't forget to share your feature requests and ideas directly with myself and our other product managers through our feedback portal. So we actually review this feedback daily. It does impact our roadmap and the decisions we make in product development, so your feedback is very important to us. On this feedback site, you have visibility into all requests that have been made by any customer. You can vote for existing requests. You can create your own requests, and you'll receive updates for anything that you create or that you vote for. So here's the contact information for Andrew and myself. Please feel free to reach out to us, to stop us at the conference if you see us, or visit us at the visualization booth. We're not going to have time for questions today. Andrew and I will stay for a little bit if anyone wants to come up, or again, we'll be at the visualization booth a lot, so you can come and talk to us there. And thank you very much.